The orange menace strikes again. A tempest in an apple pie. Folks, you just can't make this stuff up, or maybe you can if you're him. Donald Trump, the former future forever campaigning president. He's back, and with a bang. Or more accurately, a whine. A very loud, very public whine. This time it wasn't about elections, or windmills, or water pressure. No, this was serious. This was about apple pie. Yes, you heard me. Apple pie, the all-American dessert. Apparently it's now part of the deep state. Who knew? He woke up one sunny May morning, the birds were singing, the indictments were indicting, and Donald Trump decided to pick a fight, a big one, with a national institution. Not Congress, they're too easy. Not the courts, they're too mean. He went for the jugular of American wholesomeness. He aimed his mighty rhetoric, his very powerful words, his best words, some say, at a company beloved by millions, for making delicious, comforting apple pies. This was his new enemy. Why, you ask? Why this pastry-based pugilism? Was the crust not flaky enough? Was the filling insufficiently patriotic? Did an apple slice look at him funny? The reasons, as always with Trump, are a beautiful tapestry. A tapestry woven with threads of ego, and grievance, and perhaps a touch of what can I break today? Target acquired, how dare you love squirrels more than golf? So what exactly did Grandma's goodness apple pies do? What heinous crime did they commit? To warrant the full force of a Trump tantrum? Did they secretly fill their pies with liberal tears? Or print socialism on the bottom of their tins? Nope, it was much, much worse, folks. They donated to a wildlife fund, a fund that protects endangered animals, including, and this is the kicker, the fluffy-tailed forest squirrel. A very cute, very endangered squirrel. Can you believe the nerve? Now why would this enrage the Donald? Is he anti-squirrel? Does he have a long-standing feud with the entire rodent community? Not exactly. It turns out this particular squirrel, this specific, adorable, nut-loving mammal lived in a forest. A forest where Mr. Trump in his infinite wisdom and modesty wanted to build. You guessed it. Another golf course. Because the world clearly needs more places for him to drive a small ball into a slightly larger hole, while wearing questionable pants. So, Trump took to his favorite megaphone, Truth Social, or whatever it's called this week. And he let loose. Grandma's goodness is no good, he declared, probably in all caps. The pie fights back, a nation rallies for pastry and principles. Now, Donald Trump expected Grandma's goodness to crumble, like a day-old pie crust. He thought they'd issue a groveling apology, maybe fire the squirrel-loving CEO, and pledge allegiance to Trump national golf courses. That's usually how it works in his world. He barks, people cower, he wins, or so the script usually goes. But this time, folks, this time was different. Grandma, it turns out, had a spine. Made of pure, unadulterated American steel and a dash of cinnamon. Grandma's goodness didn't panic, they didn't lash out, they responded with class. Can you imagine? Class! In this political climate, they issued a simple statement. We love America, we love apple pie, and yes, we love our furry friends, the fluffy-tailed forest squirrels. They even included a picture of the adorable squirrel, holding a tiny slice of apple pie. The internet, predictably, exploded, but not in the way Trump wanted. Not with anger at Grandma, but with love. People started posting pictures of themselves eating Grandma's goodness apple pies. They used hashtags like #pie-and-principles, #squirrels for president, #sorry not sorry Donald. Sales of Grandma's pies didn't just hold steady, they skyrocketed. Stores sold out, people were baking their own pies. Section 4, Crumbling Empire. The boycott boomerang slams Trump Tower, so Trump called for a boycott of Grandma's goodness. And what happened? America boycotted him back. It was beautiful, folks, a true chef's kiss moment. People didn't just buy more pies, they started looking at Trump's own businesses. His hotels, his golf courses, his line of poorly fitting suits, and they thought, maybe these are the things we should avoid. The irony was delicious. Almost as delicious as a non-boycotted apple pie. Suddenly make America great again. Hats were seen a little less, and I stand with Grandma. T-shirts were everywhere. Social media influencers, chefs, even some rival pie companies. They all joined in, supporting Grandma's goodness, and subtly, or not so subtly, shading Trump. There were memes. Oh, the glorious memes. Trump wrestling a squirrel and losing. Trump looking sadly at an empty pie tin. Trump trying to trademark Apple and failing. The internet was undefeated. Financial analysts started to notice. Bookings at Trump properties saw a dip. Mentions of his brand online turned overwhelmingly negative. Even more than usual, which is saying something. Section 5, not so sweet, Trump's reputation takes a custard bath. This whole Piegate fiasco, as the wags were calling it, did wonders for Grandma's goodness, but for Donald Trump's reputation, not so much. It was less a gentle dusting of powdered sugar and more like a full-on custard bath, sticky, messy, and deeply unflattering. He wanted to look strong, dominant, the alpha male of the political jungle. Instead, he looked petty. He looked like a bully, picking on a beloved grandma and her woodland creatures. His image as a savvy businessman took a hit. What genius tries to bankrupt a pie company over a squirrel? His image as a man of the people, slightly tarnished. When the people are overwhelmingly siding with the pie and the squirrel. He tried to paint Grandma's goodness as elite and out of touch, but he was the one ranting about a golf course, while everyone else was just trying to enjoy a simple dessert. And maybe save a small animal, the narrative he so carefully crafts. The one where he's the victim, the persecuted hero. It started to fray. How can you be the victim when you're attacking apple pie? Section 6, red hats, red faces, even MAGA land whispers, too far, Don. Now, you might think Trump's base is unshakable, that they'd follow him into any battle, even one against baked goods. And for the most part, you'd be right. They are loyal, very loyal. But even in the heart of MAGA land, there were murmurs, faint at first, but definitely there. Whispers of, Mr. President, are you sure about this one? Because, folks, some things are sacred, even to the most devoted follower. And apple pie is pretty high on that list. Imagine the scene, a MAGA rally, full of red hats and righteous anger. But then, someone's stomach rumbles. They remember Grandma's goodness, the flaky crust, the sweet cinnamon apples, the feeling of home, and then they hear Trump, ranting about woke pies and traitorous squirrels. It creates a certain cognitive dissonance, a conflict between their leader and their dessert-based patriotism. It's a tough spot for a patriot to be in. Online, in the usually echo-chambery corners of the pro-Trump internet, you started to see cracks. A few brave souls would post, "I love Trump, but I also love Grandma's pies." Or "Can't we just let the squirrels live?" They were often shouted down, of course, but the seeds of doubt were planted. This wasn't about immigration. Section 7, the after-dinner indigestion, what Piegate means for Trump's future feast. So, what are the broader implications of this pastry-based political drama, this unexpected defeat for Donald Trump? Well, folks, it's more than just a funny story. It's a symptom, a sign, that maybe, just maybe, the Trump magic is starting to wear off. Even a little. If you can lose a fight against an apple pie, what does that say about your chances in, say, a national election? It's food for thought, preferably served with ice cream. This incident shows his judgment is questionable at best, picking fights he can't win, alienating potential voters over trivialities. It suggests a man increasingly out of touch. Not just with reality, we knew that, but with the basic sentiments of the American people. People like apple pie, they like squirrels, they don't like bullies, especially bullies who attack apple pie and squirrels. It's not a complicated formula, but he missed it, spectacularly. For his political career, this is a warning shot. His opponents see weakness. They see an opportunity.